on how well local banks are doing at lending money to minorities. For years, Investigative Post has profiled how KeyBank, for instance, approved mortgages for African-American applicants at much lower rates than white homebuyers. But the bank, to its credit, now reports a sharp increase in mortgages for black families in our region. Take a look at these numbers. So over a 3-year period from 2020 to 2022, KeyBank issued loans to 47 black applicants total for those 3 years. Compare that to 2023 when it approved 48 mortgages to black homebuyers in that single year, tripling its average from the previous period. Key's corporate responsibility officer told Investigative Post, quote, "All the progress that we have made over time is the result of just being able to listen to the community." Investigative Post reporter Ijaz Jasil has been on this story for a long time now and has this update. Thank you for coming in. Let me start with just KeyBank in particular, and then we'll talk bigger picture, because it's not like this isn't still an issue, right. But KeyBank has made really substantial progress.
Truly, you know, as you demonstrated those numbers, they did better last year than they did in the past 3 years prior combined. So a lot of that is attributed to some programs that they've come out with, like their special purpose lines of credit, and really just trying to meet people where they are in terms of lending, credit score, things like that that would traditionally keep someone from being approved, you know, for a mortgage. And they listened. They listened to the people who said, we are concerned about your lending. It does not look equitable. And that's an issue, by the way, that they saw not only here in the Buffalo-Niagara region, but nationally. So it seems KeyBank has really put in the work to sort of change that, and the numbers do show.
In your article at investigativepost.org, there is sort of a searchable database where you can see just a bunch of different banks, how many applications they got total, how many from black applicants, how many were approved and how many were not approved. Right. And the numbers are still really surprising. I mean, there's a lot of work left to do for all of the banks out there, right?
Oh, absolutely. The approval rate for mortgages to African Americans is only about 7%. Meanwhile, black Americans make up 13% of the region's population. So the numbers aren't really on par. And you know, black applicants are still getting denied at twice the rate of white applicants. So while we have seen improvements at KeyBank among some other local lenders, there's still much more work to be done. You know, the issue has not been resolved by any means. Even though redlining was made illegal many, many years ago, some systemic issues in place still, you know, produce those patterns and unfortunately prevent the equity that we're hoping to see.
Yeah, I know that you've talked to a lot of community leaders, community activists about this issue. Explain to viewers why it's so important that we address this. I mean, this goes even just beyond, obviously, if you're trying to get a mortgage and you're trying to buy maybe your first home and you don't have access like others do, that's a problem for you individually, but this is even bigger picture. Why is it so important?
It's extremely important because home ownership is generational wealth. I mean, that's been the biggest thing that I've heard when I talk to so many people about this, from realtors to community activists. And so to own a home is to be investing money into something that is yours as opposed to paying rent and essentially paying someone else's mortgage. And especially it's so important for minority communities to really attain home ownership and to realize the value in it, because, you know, going again into generations, there's been a lack of financial education. You know, you have issues like lower credit scores and lack of educational and job opportunities because of systemic issues in place. So when you look at a thing like home ownership on a bigger scale and realize the importance of it and the importance that it is accessible to everyone, you really, you know, get a better understanding of why it's so important to hold the lenders accountable as well.
Well, your reporting has certainly done that. Investigativepost.org, you can go read it. It's a very extensive article, and good that there is a somewhat positive update to this, Ijaz. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much,
Appreciate it.